Pregame.com.
Football season has arrived, and in Las Vegas, that means contests. And let me tell you something. We've got Dave Tuley with us, Daily Racing Form, View from Vegas. It's a guy, legend. Is that fair?
Thanks for sharing. Oh, yeah, I think so.
Hi, there you go. But one of the things you surprised me, we were at a conference a few weeks ago here in town, and you were stressing the value that's in a contest, or some of the contests here in town. Now, I've been in town 14 years come January, and I got to be honest, I've played the Hilton a few times. We're playing it this year, but I never looked at the contest as a positive EV, as the poker kids say. Why don't you tell us in general what it is that you like so much about the contest?
Yeah, I love the contest because I think you can either, if you're having your best season ever, you know, if you're just betting $100, a couple $100 on a game, you're only going to clear a couple $1,000s by the end of the year.
Even if you kill it.
Right, even if you go like 65, 70%. But in the Hilton Super Contest, $1,500 entry fee, you can win $250,000 for that same year. So I think the contests are very big for, capitalizing when you have really great seasons. But then I've also done very well on the smaller contests here in town. There's $25 entry fee at the Palms, at the station casinos. Coast Resorts has a free contest, and these contests, they mostly have weekly prizes and then also the end of the year prizes. I mostly go for the weekly prizes because I'm an underdog player, so I'm trying to find those games that the majority of the public doesn't like.
Okay, so the Hilton is a big enough contest that I think what we'll do is have a separate video on that. So let's set the Hilton aside, and just to give you guys a little heads up, I actually did a podcast today with Jay Cornegay, the director at the Hilton, and we talk about his contest there and a lot of other great stuff. You can get all those at pregamepodcast.com. Okay, so let's split the contest up into pay contests and free contests. So the free ones, you literally, there's no entry fee, so it's clearly an overlay, but you've got tons of people in
Right.
them. In general, do you look at that as worth the time? Because clearly it's worth the money. Is it worth the time?
I don't think so. The coast casinos, the Sun Coast, the Orleans, the Gold Coast, they have a free contest. You get 3 entries with your Players Club card. But you're going against maybe 50,000 people, something like that. And so
So it's almost like a sweepstakes.
Right.
Free entry, but you've got to drive there every week.
Right.
So it seems to me if you're going to be at that casino anyway, why not?
Right.
But otherwise, it's probably not worth the hassle.
Right, exactly. But then as you get to the other contests and you start paying money, that does whittle down the number of people you're going against. I mean, obviously the Stations has properties all over town, so even though it's $25
So let's go one
entry,
at a time. So
okay.
Stations contest, give us the details on that.
Yeah, $25 entry. You buy 2, you get 1 free, so it's 3 weekly entry.
And they max you at 3?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you have,
So $50 is the most you got to put in to get 3 entries.
right, and actually that one can be free if you play all 17 weeks. If you're a local in town, they give you your money, $50 back in slot play. So it's basically a free roll. But again, you are going against a lot of people, and that's also one I suggest that if people are from out of town. Most of these ones we're going to be talking about for locals. But yeah, if you're coming from out of town on a given weekend, want to put down $25, $50 in a pool, it's going to pay $20,000 to the winner. That's better than you're going to get at your office pool back home.
So let's think about this, and I actually don't know the answer to this. So you're saying you're able to sign up here,
Right.
and then what? Have a proxy, or you can play online, or what?
No, if you're here in town, you can play that weekend in person. And actually,
So you're talking about each week? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like someone from California comes in, and actually the Stations allows you on their kiosk to play like the next 3 weeks. So you can come in, play this week and like the next 3 weeks, then maybe just come back in another month and play 3-4 weeks at a time.
But just to be clear, the 25 entries for the entire season.
Right.
Okay.
Whether you play 1 week or all 17 weeks.
All right, so in general, let's do a 1 to 10, 10 being the best value. You don't have the notes here.
Uh-oh.
Impromptu, baby. 1 to 10, what's the value on the Stations contest?
I would say, again, if you're a local, I'd say a 10. Because there's one all over town. You can find one to enter every
So
week.
you're saying that the friction, the effort it requires to participate is less because they have so many locations.
Right, exactly.
All right. Now, is there any overlay in that? And let's define overlay real quick. Is if there's actually more money being paid out that's entered. So the World Series of Poker, they hold, I think, 9 or 10 or 11%. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if they get $1 million in the pool, they take out their 100K and split up the 900K. The Hilton, which we'll talk about, it actually is a slight overlay because they take all the money paid out, then they pay out an extra 10K for the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks,
Right.
and they have if you're 66.5% or 66.6 or whatever, you actually end up winning another 10K as a bonus. So it's a slight overlay. What stations when it comes to the
Stations is an overlay because, again, most of these casinos, they use these as a loss leader. Their goal is to get you into the casino, so you go to dinner, go to a show, gamble at the table games also. They know they're not going to get everybody to do that.
With Marco, they're trying to get him at the buffet, but they don't understand. They don't want him at the buffet. That's another loss leader.
That's exactly. I hear you there. But yeah. So stations, they're given $2 million in prizes total. The winner for
so they got a guaranteed prize pool.
Yeah. And the overall winner at the end of the year, most wins, gets $100,000 or a house, which again, depending on the housing market, you might just take the cash.
Now, do you have any sense if you take the entry fees and add them all up, how close does that get to $2 million? Do you think?
Well, they never release the actual number of entries, so we never hear the exact amount. But again, I'm pretty sure it's got to be well
so
over
your
$2 million.
sense is there's a great overlay there.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the next contest?
The Palms Casino. Now this one is a personal favorite of mine. You buy 3 entries for $25 a piece. That's $75, and you get 3 free. So now you got 6 cards you can play each week. I've won this one twice for $10,000 each.
No wonder it's a favorite.
So yeah, it's really easy to win. But again, I was able to isolate the underdogs in the right spot, and both times I did need to win the Monday night tiebreaker. Closest to the final, total
now I
number
heard
of points.
they have a guaranteed payout, and I hear it's a massive overlay. Do you have any sense of those numbers?
Yeah, again, they don't release how many people enter, but again, they're only a single property there.
So I heard they're guaranteeing 300K or something.
Right.
And I'm hearing that some people were saying, and don't quote me on this, just between you and I'm hearing that the overlay is like 100%. They're only taking in like 150, like half of it.
That's I've heard before, an estimate. So. And again, they know that they're competing against the coast and the station casinos of the world, and so they're trying to bring the locals in there as well.
And that brings up a good point, is people always make a big deal about, let's say, craps, is if you have the free odds, you can get your negative EV down to 0.2 or whatever. Fact is, you're still working really hard to get your EV into that almost break-even area. Is you could make the case that a blackjack player that counts cards is trying to get a 1 or 2% positive EV. I've heard of progressives on slots where at a certain point where the jackpot passes a certain point, you have a positive EV. But we're talking 2, 3, 4% at the most. We're saying like at the Palms, there might be 100% EV, though you're not, but here's the kind of paradox. You're only risking 50, 70 bucks. So let's say you're risking 50. If the EV's plus 100%, that means you're really, to participate in the contest, you're making $50, is the theory.
In theory, right.
But if you're a better picker than the average pool, then your EV goes up.
Right. Again, I'm way up in that contest over the years at $75 a pop.
That's why you're a legend.
Over 10 years, yeah.
All right. So scale 1 to 10, you put the Palms at.
Again, personally, for me, a 10.
It's a 10,000.
Right. I mean, but since I don't want everyone to enter it and have as many entries as the other places, I'll say a 7.
Wink, wink.
Right.
All right. Any other ones we need to go over?
Yeah. The stations also has a $25 entry fee. Buy 4, get 1 free. So it's 5 entries for $100. The last man standing, and they do that for both the college and the pro. 2 separate contests. You're in for $200 if you buy the maximum. And they guarantee $75,000 in the NFL for the last man. Again, it's 1 game against the spread every week, and the last person gets $75,000. In the college is $25,000. But if you win both of them, they kick in an extra $100,000.
Oh wow, no, that's never happened.
No, and again, this is the first year that no, they did offer it last year. No one hit it.
The a local radio personality, Mitch Moss, 4 or 5 years ago. actually was down to the final. I'm not sure, but I think it was Handful. And his moniker on air was the last man standing Mitch Moss for about 2 years after.
Yeah, he named his show after that. Yeah, because him and his partner, Doug Douglas, won that contest. So.
Oh, they ended up winning.
Yeah, they won it.
I thought
but it was only like 17,000 at that time.
Okay.
I think that was the very first one.
I think
and like I said, now the guarantee is 75,000.
I think Mitch started hedging like 6 weeks before the end of the year.
He probably lost money.
All right, so 1 to 10, what do you rank that one?
That one's harder. That one is really if you really specialize in finding that one game every week to stay alive and last.
Now, do you play all of these so far yourself?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else?
Leroy's $250 entry fee, pro and college challenge, 2 separate contests. The college one you pick 7 games a week, and it starts this week. They didn't start it last week.
All right. So on that one, how many games do they offer the entire card?
Yeah.
But they put everything on a half point. I was looking into this contest because they didn't want any ties.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's every game on the card plus the added games.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you pick 7 out of like 50 games a week.
So that's kind of a quasi-pro contest because you got 1,500 at the Hilton. Now, I also know they have other contests which are quite big. You know, I know they had a contest they were trying to get off the ground for 5K, and I think they moved it to 3K. And then the M ended up having, what, a $100,000 contest last year?
Yeah, the M last year had a $100,000 entry fee. They only got 7 people. So this year they lowered it to $10,000.
Okay,
we're still waiting to see how many they get at that number.
So you've got the professional ones, and let's call the Hilton at the low end of the professional ones, $1,500 is a reasonable fee, and then you've got the $25, $50 ones that everyone can play. And it seems like Leroy's is kind of positioned in between because $250 is more than the average batter probably wants to put up, but clearly if you're a reasonable amount of money.
Right, and they draw like fields of like 300 people in that one. So again, the prize pool, first place would be around $20,000. So it's still a good one to shoot for.
Now, is that one a 100% payout?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's no overlay, but there's no juice.
They also do a $5,000 mini contest over the last 4 weeks.
Which is the overlay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to do the Hilton separately. Any closing thoughts?
No.
Do you want to tell us you won the 10 grand twice one more time?
No, but I can run down all the other ones I won.
All right, guys, listen up. We're going to have a second video on just the Hilton. You can get that at pregame.tv, and we'll be right back.